So, after helping literally millions of people online through my apps, through my YouTube channel, through my online education and courses, I've put together 40 of the top most asked questions regarding business ideas, things people really struggle with, and in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to share with you and the best practices and tips to get over those issues. So let's get started. Did you know that about 20% or 30% of entrepreneurs, depending on the niche and depending on how far along they are, they just don't start a business because they actually don't have a viable idea that they feel confident about going to war with, right? And that's a lot of people. That's a huge amount of people. And for those people, I've got like a free business app, that like business idea app. I've got a lot of business idea. Well, actually, this video is for those people. It's hopefully going to help you. Here's really how you gotta start. There's a lot more to it, but first of all, you've gotta see how you can improve the world. Is there a problem somewhere? Can you solve it? Can you make something function better, faster, more efficiently? Can you educate someone? Can you entertain someone? Can you do anything of benefit to anyone, and enough benefit so that you can start charging money and that you will love actually doing it, so you can actually do it for more than one day, right? Hopefully, because your business will require you to be in business for a while. More than one day, maybe years. And it's got to be something you can actually do, right? I know a lot of people want to be musicians, movie stars, stars of other kinds, everything, right? But can you really do it, right? Or there's like sexy businesses, right? A lot of people come to me and they're like, I want to create the next mobile app. Do you know how to make apps? Can you raise money? No? Okay. Well, what can you actually do, right? And it's like, I hate telling people like you can't do something, but so you can do anything, but it's easier if you choose something that you can really pull off. Really be somewhat realistic. Of course, you want to always dream and dream big, but if you stay at least balance that with some reality, you're not gonna get into businesses that are just gonna be like way out of your league and ballpark, right? And also, I've already kind of alluded to it, but do you see yourself doing this for years? And take the sexy businesses and think about what they really are. Mobile apps, sexy business. But most of it, it's like programming, is very boring, right? It's only for some select people in the world that they can do this for a while. The idea of having an app is super cool, but making the app is like scrupulous and boring, and it's completely not sexy, and it sucks. And it's stressful, right? So running the business, can you do it for a while? Same with the restaurant. Of course, it's awesome to own the restaurant, but you know how much work it is, and the stress, and every day is the same. You gotta get the food, you gotta make sure everybody's happy, the employees, and then you gotta be there to make sure that Do you really want to be there every day? No, probably not for years, right? So sexy businesses sound sexy, running them not that sexy. So think about it. Do you really see yourself running, the minutia of the business for years? Because God forbid you're successful, you'll have to do that, right? So that's another thing. Okay, a lot of people ask, should I protect my business ideas, right? If you're a first-time entrepreneur, usually first-time entrepreneurs are very secretive about their business ideas. They're like, oh my God, somebody's gonna steal my idea. There's 6 billion people in the world, and no one has ever had that idea. Let me tell you, people have had your idea, okay? People have had your idea many, many times. If you don't see it in the world, you're either not looking hard enough, or that idea died because it wasn't a good idea. But you are not that original, right? It's very difficult to be original, and usually people come up with original idea not just sitting under a tree like Buddha, right? They come up with original ideas as they're already working on some idea. They're moving it forward. They're inching something else forward, and then they're like, oh, there's something interesting here, right? So most of the time, it isn't like I'm such a brilliant, I'm so smart, and my idea is gonna make me $1 million, and it's original. No one's ever thought of it. Yeah, people have thought of it. You're not that original, right? I mean, but you can't convince first-time entrepreneurs that this is them, right? They think, my experience is so unique. My idea is so unique. I'm gonna do it, right? No. But can't convince them. They usually just get convinced by that, by failing on the first idea, and in hindsight, they think like, oh, yeah, okay, everybody else was right, I was a little bit wrong. Nevertheless, people ask how to protect ideas. Some ideas, like few types of ideas, you should protect them. Very innovative stuff, probably you want to keep your cards close to your chest. But for most stuff, probably not. If you're a new entrepreneur, most likely your idea is not that protection worthy. Anyway, but there are some times where you need to protect different intellectual property. Let me give you a number of ways to do that. One of the ways is something called the NDA, non-disclosure agreement. It's basically a document you sign, and the person is legally, binded to not disclose what you tell them. Now, let me tell you, to enforce this thing, you actually have to sue them, which most people won't do, right? It's expensive. God knows what the outcome will be. It's a complete waste of time. It's a hassle. And by the way, people will hate you for making them sign an NDA. I hate people who make me sign an NDA. I almost always say no, and because it's a very rarely worthwhile, unless like you're paying me to like participate in your business a lot, then I will probably sign an NDA because I want to get paid. But if you're just a random person getting feedback on an idea or anything like that, not signing your NDA, right? Annoying. So you're gonna annoy people with your NDA, and it's hard to enforce. It's more like a scary tool, right? Like you want to scare people. Oh, I'm under an NDA agreement, right? Really, I prefer working with people whom you can trust, because then you don't need to protect yourself against them, because some people's word is much stronger than legal documents, right? And those are the kind of people that you always want to work with. People who have integrity and honesty. That's like a winning strategy, far more than legal binding tools. Of course, you need contracts, but not necessarily the NDA. Let's say you hired someone, you make them sign an NDA, which is fine. They'll sign it if you hire them. You can also make them sign what's called a non-compete agreement, where they are also legally binded. Let's say they work with you for like a year or something, or actually it doesn't matter how long. What happens is they are legally binded to not leave your company and start a competitive company, and they are also legally binded to they can't leave your company, and they can't take your customers with them. Okay, so you get to protect yourself in these ways as well. Okay, number 8 here, I already mentioned, work with people you can trust. It's always best. It's your judgment how you decide if you can trust them. Hopefully you have good judgment on that. No one's ever perfect, but you can get close to perfect. Let's say your idea is actually good, and let's say that you make it happen. You make it live, you put out your product, and it's good. Well, as soon as it's good, actually, as soon as people are like, wow, this is good, they're going to relentlessly start copying your idea, because it's public, it's out there, and it's live. And you're going to have tremendous competition if you prove to the world that you're good. Not in the beginning, not when you're sharing the idea, not when you're just thinking about it and brainstorming it, but as you actually made it happen. Then people will relentlessly all over the world copy your idea. If it's good, if it's working, it's a fact, right? So the only way really you can protect your idea is to constantly improve your product and move your idea forward, which will, by the way, give you ideas for new ideas, right? Like when you're working on stuff, that's when you will sort of like get new ideas that are even better versions of your current ideas or new ideas, right? And people who have copied you, they're copying you, but they're behind, right? So your product is always better. So that innovation, you've got to keep innovating. And always improving your product. Additionally, one way to protect your business when it's live and it's operational and people are copying you left and right is to create what's called a moat. A moat is not a real thing. If the word moat means like a kind of a ditch with water around a castle, right? And what does it do? It prevents people from attacking the castle, right? It's like a medieval castle protection thing. Why do we use it in business? Well, think about Facebook. How many people have copied Facebook? Probably tens of thousands. We don't know about any of them almost because their businesses are dead. But to make software that looks like Facebook is not that hard. A set of programmers can do it in like a month or two. There's hundreds of thousands of programmers all over the world. Social networking is a huge business, right? So people have copied it. Why did they not succeed? Because the real defensibility of this business is the 1 billion users that Facebook has. And those businesses have zero, right? Because if a new person signs up to Facebook, none of their friends are there, right? And so they're not going to use that other copied social network, right? That's the major problem. And so that's kind of like a moat. It's a theoretical, it's a strategy. There's no concrete document. There's no concrete like press A, B comes out, right? But it's a kind of a strategy. And that's the Facebook example is an example of a moat. The billion users, yeah, that's their moat. No one has that. And that's why Facebook is Facebook. Like that's why people are on it to interact with their friends there. Okay. Another way to protect your intellectual property, if you write something, like a book is the common example. Copyrights, right? You have copyright protections, right? So there's a way you can get people to not copy your book. Like there's very standard copyrights, right? If you have an actual invention that's out in the world, you can get a patent. Don't get a patent for your idea. This is one of the more common mistakes. First of all, you almost never can get it. You almost always cannot get a patent for an idea. You actually have to have a real invention. But the thing is that patents are super expensive. They take a long time. Your lawyer will make money. You will lose money. And your lawyer will say something. You should be safe. You should stay on the safe side. And of course, you should be safe. But use your common sense, because is your invention really that protectable with your patent? First of all, is your invention going to change over time and your patent will be completely useless, right? Or is your patent, there's a lot of problems with patents. They help in some cases, they're good, but for most new businesses, it's a challenge because they're very expensive and you have limited resources, limited money, and you need to be spending that money on building your product and marketing, right? So the next thing, if you want to protect your business name, logos, slogan, the very common example people give is like Nike, the little swoosh, the picture, the logo, and whatever their little slogan is, like you can do it or whatever, or you can't do it, I don't know. They've trademarked that, meaning nobody else can use that, and so you can trademark your name so that nobody else can use your name, or nobody else can like come in and kick you out of your name if they trademark your name, right? So those are the ways to protect business ideas and intellectual property. Now, let's talk about risk, right? It's a not fun topic, but super necessary. There's 3 kinds of risk that I like to kind of make people aware of. First of all, there's product risk, right? What's product risk is, let's give the app example again, right? Let's say apps. Usually they are new types of apps, something that doesn't exist before, right? A new kind of social app, a new kind of photo app, right? Well, it's not easy, it's not rocket science, but it's not completely easy to build it either, right? Especially if you're not a programmer, you have to hire someone, right? So to create the product and launch it, you have to spend money, you have to spend time, attention, effort, and you might not never launch it, right? You might never launch it because of many things can come up. If your product is complicated, you might need, you might hire a programmer, they might not be able to do it, you might have to hire an agency, whatever. Like, there's, a lot of risk to get the product to get launched. Now, launch is just the beginning, right? Because the real thing is, can this product be competitive, right? And so it's going to take an immense amount more resources to go after launch to be industry competitive, especially if it's a competitive industry. So to get the product quality to be good enough long term, you have a tremendous product risk. You might just never get there. And of course, that ties into financial risk. You're going to be spending a lot of time and money and all kinds of resources of yours that most likely will fail because you have, competing against the entire world, right, in the app stores. And then the most kind of a gray area one, the most one that's almost like art, because you can create a product. There's like a blueprint to things like that, but there's a little bit of an art to get people to get the market to adopt the product. People, they're human. Are they going to use this thing or not? Sometimes it's a crapshoot. You have no idea. Sometimes you know. Sometimes you think you know. You only really get to try it, and you can theorize all you want, but you can really just try it after you've taken on the financial risk, taken on the product risk, and you can put it in front of people, give it to people to use, and see if they're actually adopting it in the thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions, right? And if they don't, that's your market risk. The market did not adopt your product. What do you do, right? So those are huge risks that are associated with almost every business. Some businesses, it's easier to create the product, so the product risk is less. For some businesses, it's a business that's a commoditized business, like like the laundromat on the corner of wherever you live. It's a business that needs no market adoption, right? Like, people use this kind of business, right? There's a very, very, very little market risk, right? So different businesses, they have larger and smaller such risks, and you've got to balance it out. Hopefully, you have all three of these things have lesser risk, right? Like a restaurant, huge risk, right? Huge financial risk. You got to launch it. Big product risk. People might not even like your food, and people might not start coming regularly. So it's a market adoption risk as well. And so every business has varying degrees of all of these risks. And of course, you want to minimize as much as possible. We're getting towards the middle of the video, and I just kind of wanted to check in with you. How are you? Are you enjoying the video? Is it helpful? Is it insightful? If this is the kind of video that you are finding insightful and helpful, I want to tell you about 3 more resources that I have for you. If you're an entrepreneur, these are going to be great for you. These are the mobile apps that I made. They cover business ideas, business planning, starting a business, marketing, fundraising. I have online courses on the same topics, and I have books on the same topics. I'm going to link to all of them in the description of the video so you can check them out. I recommend that you check out my apps because a lot of them are free, and I would really recommend that you take my courses, because if you are liking this kind of a video format, my courses actually have more premium videos, right? This is actually a good video, I would say. Well, I made it, but I kind of made it. I tried to really put a lot into this video. But my courses, they have even more quality things that will really help you grow your business. And my courses all have a discount code that I'm going to give you. It's YouTube Enjoy in one word. You enter the checkout and it discounts any of my courses, and I have 70 plus courses online on all kinds of entrepreneurship topics, business, marketing, and it discounts any of those courses. So you can browse the courses, and again, I'll have the link in the description of the video, and also I'll have, you can actually see right now, you can see across the bottom of the screen the URL and where you can check out my courses and my website, and you can see the discount code there that you would enter. So there's very little confusion. So again, these things, and of course check out the books as well. These resources are really going to help you. Many entrepreneurs have found these immensely helpful, and I think you will too. So I welcome you to get these, and I look forward to really helping you with your business far more than in just this video. But for now, let's resume this video. So let's just kind of let it go from where we left off. 3 types of ideas, general categories. Like, okay, if you're doing something super new, launching a rocket ship into space, okay, you're innovative, okay? In 1990s, every internet idea was innovative. Commoditized business, so it's something super new. The problem with something super new is that there's a huge market risk. You have no idea if people will actually like it. Huge increase of chance of failure. Okay, it's sexier. Usually these ideas that are innovative, they're cooler, they're new. sexier, but riskier because the market might not adopt it, okay? And because it's new, the product risk is also usually larger because don't know if people will, you're kind of just, you're like the explorer, you're like the Magellan or the Christopher Columbus, right? You're paving the way forward for everybody. And usually there's a lot of failure along the way and you pay for it. On the other hand of that are commoditized businesses, which are like super established businesses, you know how they work. Like your corner liquor store or the corner laundromat. You know it's known how to run that business. Now, let me tell you about what hybrid businesses are. These are actually kind of new kinds of twists on existing ideas, right? So maybe tutoring, which has been around for a million years, less than that. But maybe online, maybe some website for it. Although by now there's like probably that sort of a website has existed for 20 years, so even that probably at this point is becoming somewhat a commoditized business. But you get the idea, right? It's an existing kind of business with a new twist, right? Those are sort of the three general types of ideas. And what you have to do when you're thinking about your idea, when you come up with an idea, try to understand which one it is. If it's innovative, that means more risk. If it's commoditized, it probably means there's less risk to build it, but it's less exciting, less sexy, kind of, right? But certainly, you don't have this product adoption risk as much, right? There's a blueprint. You can get coaching for it because people who have built a successful business like that before can literally tell you exactly how to do it because they've done it, right? So that's sort of like you can draw certain advantages from certain types of ideas once you recognize what they are. Let's move on. So there's a couple of ways you can get feedback about your idea, right? Because you got your idea, you think it's great, like always, but maybe people have other ideas, right? Maybe people have other thoughts and takes on your idea. So who should you talk to? Friends and family are great. Problem is that usually they're not in that industry. Maybe they're not in that business industry and they want to protect you. Some people will say, oh yes, that sounds great, go for it. And they know nothing, right? They just want to be nice to you. That's not that helpful, right? So for that reason, you want to talk to people who are kind of like business peers of yours, right? Industry experts who are very experienced and potential customers. Business peers are usually easier to get a hold of, but the challenge with them is that they also they're your peers. They're not experts, right? And industry experts, the challenge with them is that they're busy. They don't have time for you. The way you get around that is I recommend that you join professional Facebook groups. So like let's say you want to start a YouTube channel. Go and join YouTube Facebook groups and start talking to people about it. They will have your industry experts there and they will have your business peers there and you can talk to people. And of course, do not forget to talk to potential customers about what they think of your idea, if they're going to use it, stuff like that. And by the way, when you get feedback, don't argue. Just listen to things that people tell you. Take it in and really consider it. And you don't have to take everybody's advice because some people's advice will be directly conflicting anyway and sometimes just wrong, but always you want to synthesize about like why are they giving certain feedback, why, think about what they're saying. It's always good to gather as many perspectives as possible, right? Okay, you got your feedback from friends, family, experts, whoever, blah blah blah, but it's not enough because all this feedback, it's still all just theory, not enough to base a business in, okay? What you really have to do, once you get your feedback and once you still get reasonably positive feedback and once you still are excited about your idea yourself, it's time to try your idea on a small scale. That's where Eric Ries, who's a really respected business person, he has this idea of MVP, not most valuable player, minimum viable product. His idea for the minimum viable product is that you should try to release a minimum viable product into the market to see how people react and respond to the product when it's in the market. Now here's the keys. It's minimal, but it's viable. Okay, minimum viable product. So it's easy to release some crap which is minimal and get feedback about it, but if it's crap, you will just get feedback that's really negative and it's not really telling of the product. So the trick is to provide your product in a minimum but viable way, right? And then you get feedback from people. Maybe, of course, it's day one, they probably will have a lot of negative things to say or suggestions for improvements. You go and make some improvements and quickly put that improved product back to customers' hands, get more feedback, make those improvements, more feedback, and have that continuous cycle. And that actually may evolve into your product getting launched, because you're basically just continuing to improve your product, and you should essentially do this cycle when your business matures at a slower rate, but you should really never stop doing the cycle. Always build a product, put it out in the market, gather feedback, improve the product, put it out in the market, gather feedback, improve the product, put it out in the market, and that's how you're going to always stay ahead of the curve, always stay ahead of your competition, and continue to improve the quality of your product, which is long-term going to be one of the most important things about your business anyway. Let's say that you're getting this idea. I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself with the whole MVP. Let's take a little bit of a step back, because you gotta, like, maybe you have a business partner, or maybe you're in a conversation with anyone, right? You've got to do some early business planning. And by the way, I have a book and an online course, and actually full course on business planning and full course on actually starting a business, which I'm going to end up linking to in the description of this video, so you can take a look and explore that if you're interested. And if you're getting a lot of value from this video, that stuff is like extra premium content, and it just has more and better stuff, right? Because it's paid products. I'm going to make it affordable to you. I'm going to put a discount code in there, but it's paid products. It's legitimate stuff that, really good stuff, because people pay for it, so I make sure that people get tremendous value. And so that is, you're gonna, basically how to choose your business idea, how to find your business niche, how to plan a business, how to actually, after you plan it, how you start the business, all that stuff, right? And speaking of planning the business, part of your early thinking and conversations with people, especially if you have business partners or anyone you trust to talk about your idea with, there are some early business planning questions that you should evaluate and ask yourself and ask the people you're next to. These are things like, well, okay, let's say you've got this idea, it's great. How will you promote it, right? How will the idea make money? Will your team be able to create the product to a high enough degree of quality to compete in the marketplace with competing products, right? And by the way, if you're a new entrepreneur and somebody asks you, so how are you going to promote your product? Most likely you will say, I'm going to promote my product on Twitter, Facebook, by handing out flyers and business cards. And that's what actually most first-time entrepreneurs say. Because that's not a real marketing strategy. It's just all they know, but it's not professional. It's mostly not going to work. For almost all businesses, it's too limited. You need something professional. So for something professional, you might be satisfied with answering the question of how you will promote. You personally may be feeling satisfied with the answer of Facebook, Twitter, marketing, business cards, but that's not the right answer. How do you tell the right answer for these questions? Eventually, you will need to talk to or have someone with expertise on your team to really explain to you how you will actually promote this business. At some point, you have to get mentoring or advising or something like that, because if you're new, you're just going to answer these kinds of questions with answers that are wrong. And you're going to go to battle, you're going to go into business with wrong strategies, and eventually your business will fall apart or meet insurmountable challenges that should have been easily figured out during this business planning phase. So what I'll do is, additionally to the links to the educational products, I'll actually add a link which makes it really affordable to get my coaching and get on one-on-one Skype with me, so that you can actually get guidance and get your questions answered about your ideas or anything like that. Okay, moving on, right? But these are certainly important questions, and sometimes what happens, by the way, is you answer one of these questions and the answer seems fine, but then you answer another one of these questions, and there's no real good answer for it, right? Let's say some businesses is actually hard to make money from them, right? Some businesses is really clear, some businesses not so clear. And so you have to adjust other part of the strategies to make it easier to make money. But then after you adjust other parts of the strategies, maybe it becomes harder to promote, or maybe it becomes harder to make the product because the product just became more complicated, right? So it's almost like a three-legged stool where, like, if one leg breaks, the other two legs just fall, the stool just falls, right? So all of these things have to, this is like essentially your business model, has to stand like a three-legged stool. All of them have to work well with the others, right? So it does take some savvy. If you're starting a business, if it's your first business, most of the time, actually almost all the time, I see entrepreneurs just making, they answer these questions in actually almost identical ways, even though all entrepreneurs, all first-time entrepreneurs, they think that their experience is so unique. Like 90% of first-time entrepreneurs make absolutely identical mistakes and answer exactly these questions in absolutely identical ways, which is funny, but they don't know that from one another. But because I see thousands and thousands of people who I coach, and there's millions of people who've used my apps, my coaching, my products, all together, I see such, they just make the same mistakes. Identical. They don't know that they're doing that, but I see it. So it's kind of funny, but it's not that funny if you're failing in business. So anyway, why do businesses fail in the end? Okay, what do I see? Sometimes first-time entrepreneurs always say, "Oh my God, my competitors, blah blah blah." Actually, it's usually not competitors that cause early-stage businesses to fail. Most of the time, early-stage businesses fail purely from implosion, self-inflicted mistakes. Can't raise money, lazy, don't work hard enough, stuff like that, right? And speaking of can't raise money, the next point is that many people, they're like, oh, I have this great business idea, but I don't have the money to start, so let me raise money. And guess what? Raising money is not easy. It's possible, it's not easy. And most people fail at it because no one's waiting around to just hand you a big check so that you can make your own mistakes using their money, right? If you're a first-time entrepreneur, most likely you're going to make a lot of mistakes, lose the money that people give you, which is sad for those people. And you know what? That's why people don't give you money. People usually give money to people who have proven track records, right? So if you just wait around, wait for money to come to your lap somehow, not going to happen most likely. You gotta, I have a fundraising video that I'm going to link to. It's free in the description of this video. And I have a video on YouTube which teaches people how to 50 ways online that you can make money, right? So there's no shortage of ways to come up with money, especially if you want to hustle a little bit, but you've got to hustle. Can't wait around. That's just, your business will fail because it's never going to get started. And of course, the next thing is people just don't get coaching and guidance. And sadly, it's when I was starting, that's a mistake I made as well. If in hindsight, I would have should have gotten good guidance from experienced people who've done it before, because sometimes 5 minutes of conversation and advice from someone can prevent you from mistakes that will take you months to make and learn that it's a mistake, and time spent and money wasted and all that. Right? And sometimes just an experienced person just knows how to steer you away from that and into the right path in a short conversation because they've been there, right? So things like that. And always you have to learn and get expert help all along the way, all the time. The more coaching, really smart business people, even CEOs, they have CEO coaching, right? For big companies, right? So if you're smart about it, you will continue to get help, or just educate yourself at least continuously. And I do it all the time. Now, if I need something, if I'm new to something, I get coaching, I get help, I get advice, I take courses, I read books, because it just shortens my learning curve. Because the most valuable asset you have is your time. Never gonna get it back, so you gotta go faster and everything. Anyway, and the other reason businesses fail is a very common issue that happens is incompatible business partners. If you get into a business with a partner who says, oh my God, great idea, let's join, but you've never worked with them before, be careful, because most of the time people have very different working styles, skills, preferences, and things are going to be tough. Times are going to be tough in the beginning, you're going to clash, and if you're not a perfect great match with this person, you can, the business can get ruined just for incompatible business partners. Especially if you own the business 50-50 or something, right? So there's a lot of complexity with business partners. Business partners add a whole layer of risk and complexity. A good business partner can help you tremendously. A bad one can cause your business to die. So that's bad. And of course, if you're not consistent over the long term, your business probably won't succeed. You have to be consistent long term. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Although in the middle of it, there are some sprints, but it's long term. It's a long, years. So you got to be prepared for it. Work hard long term. Most people are not, actually, and that's why their businesses fail. It's that simple. Another point 37, no marketing strategy when people start, because it's one of the huge things. So you can't promote your business, right? You might be great at the thing you do. Let's say you open a restaurant, you're a great cook. Let's say you open some, home repair, you're a great repairer of homes. But if you don't know how to promote the businesses, if you don't hire somebody on the team to get you clients, the business is not going to work, right? It's one of the most common problems. Like, usually a very common problem, and there's a very famous book, I didn't write it, but it's a very famous book. It's called The E-Myth, which is the entrepreneur myth, where it talks about this phenomenon where people think that they're good at doing something, their main task, right? Fixing something, cooking something, doing whatever. And they think they can make a business out of it. But the business has other components that they're not prepared to make, to do well in, like marketing, like organizing things, whatever. And that's the reason people's businesses fail, is because they're good at the thing they're good at, but not necessarily making a business around that. They need to surround themselves with people who can help them, or they have to learn. And another reason businesses fail, a really strong reason, is product quality may never become competitive. Let's say you have a restaurant next door. If their food is better, that's where people will go. You have Google. If you try to make another search engine, people will go to Google, right? Because Google's better. So you have to, whatever business you're getting into, you have to be able to long-term catch up and surpass your competitors in product quality. And quickly, just to wrap up this video, a lot of people come to me and they have too many business ideas. Wrong. Long-term, you have to choose one idea, okay? How you choose it, up to you. There are some strategies. This video is already too long, so I'm not going to get into them, but it's nearly impossible to do more than one business. And most businesses fail even doing one business, right? So you can't do two businesses. You're going to have to choose one business. You can get coaching to help you choose which idea is better. You can get business peers to give you advice. You can get a lot of feedback. I've talked about it in this video. So anyway, let me tell you. These are business ideas. What I would suggest is explore the free videos that I suggested. Check out in the show more. They're just here to help you. They're free. I don't really, you don't risk anything. So check them out. There's fundraising videos. There's like videos how to make money online, other business videos, things like that. I'm going to put them in the description of this video. I'm also going to put a list of my books that I think might help you if you're interested in this kind of a video on this topic. You can check out the list of my books. They're going to help you move forward with your business. If you like reading, if you like the video kind of format and learning from it, I have a ton of video-based online courses that are going to really help you. They're probably my best products. People love them, and they truly give people a lot of help. I've got over 50,000 students, online students, to my premium courses. They're very popular. People love them. They get great reviews, and you'll have there will be links in the description of the video. The links will have a discount code with them, so it will be a discounted price. And you can check out the course, see the list of lectures that are in the course, the curriculum, and see if these are the topics that are interesting for you. And see the reviews, because people do love the reviews. The reviews are from students who've taken the courses before, so you kind of get a glimpse of what is coming. And if you have business idea issues, if you're hoping to start a business, if you want to make money somehow online or offline, or promote your business, maybe you've started, maybe you're struggling, this is really going to get you to the next level, because I've done it before. I've built a business, and in the courses, the reason they're so popular is precisely because I share honestly my experiences and really the things that I see, the people that I help with, the things that I see them struggle with. That's what then I know you probably struggle with the same things. If the topics in this video resonated with you, it's only because I know they're important, because I've helped so many people before you, and that's what all my courses are based on, and that's why the courses are so helpful. So check out all the links in the show notes. Some of the resources there will be free, no risk for you, but I think you will get tremendous value from even the discounted paid resources as well. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to my channel, keep in touch, and of course if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, leave a message. I always love hearing from people who watch the videos, and always if you have ideas for how I can improve my future videos, I would love to hear that as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.